stay tuned if you want to see how I make this sloppy Joe croissant sandwich. Let's go. This is Cecilia's way of cooking, and I'm about to share with y'all how I made this. So in today's video, this is how I attempted to make some baked curly fries. I would definitely redo these again because they didn't turn out like how I thought they would, though they were in the oven for about a good 25-30 minutes. They were still partially starchy, but it might have been due to the cornstarch that I added to them too, to why they tasted like that. But anywho, y'all will see that later on in the video. And right now, I cut both ends off, and I cut both ends of the potato off and put them through that machine. And I double washed them, so that's my second wash. And part of this meal was repurposed because I had some hamburger patties that I had to get rid of. And as you can see, I'm blotching as much water off as I possibly can to get them as dry as I possibly can. I didn't feel like pulling out a towel, so I just used paper towel. I just said skip it. And like they weren't I'd probably deep fry them next time. But I was trying to be a little healthier to try to cut down on deep frying for the sake of health. I done put the olive oil down, as you can see. And next up, y'all gonna see me put the potatoes on there. I like that reflection of olive oil giving that sheet pan. Hey! Let me stop playing. So as y'all can see, I'm putting the potatoes on there, and all of the seasoning that y'all see that y'all see right there is what's gonna go into the potato, the curly fries, the potential curly fries. And yeah, I just used paper towel. And y'all will see later on in the video that I crunched up the hamburger patties into crumble as much as possible, and then I decided to go full-blown improv and just make a homemade sloppy Joe sauce, because why not? Because it was gonna be just like an original slider. I was gonna use the Hawaiian rolls, but then I thought about the croissants I got. Like I'm a fan of croissants. I'm addicted to them. Let me stop running my mouth. So I just put the cornstarch on there. That's onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, parsley, etc., etc., etc. Everything is gonna go on these potatoes to go in the oven, and have your oven preheated at 400 degrees and cook until your desired likeness. But remember and take into consideration, because this is also something that I have to tell myself, residual heat does exist. So with that being said, don't keep your potatoes in there too long, or don't keep the oven on too long and keep your potatoes in there, otherwise they're going to burn. You can cut your oven off, and with that residual heat that's still going, it still will continue cooking them even after they come out of the oven. It's not like they're going to come out and just cool off immediately. It's not like that. And so as you can see here, I'm mixing all of the seasoning with the potatoes and the cornstarch. There was still some excess water on there that I really couldn't get off, but I figured the oven would cook it. But again, I'd probably deep fry them next time. And here's the burgers that I had left over. These were hard to cut into because they had been sitting in the fridge for a minute, but I feel like they had been sitting in the freezer. I was not going to be able to break this down with a metal spoon. I had to use my little miniature food processor because it just wasn't doing it. So yeah, there's that. And to be honest, I've been wanting to make curly fries for a good minute, but again, they were too thin for my liking. But I also do like the fact that they were a little crunchy after they had sat for a good minute, at least the little end parts that broke from everything else. And so there I am, crunching up the hamburger meat or whatever you want to call it. I'm just getting it down to size. Okay, so I got it on the plate and I'm about to put it in there. Mind you, I added no grease whatsoever. I added no grease to it because it was unnecessary. Depending on what cut of beef and the fat percentage that was already in it. And then on top of that, everything that I'm about to add in here is going to help the cooking process as well. And I had my heat on a medium high. I didn't want to have it too high until where it burned it. So I wanted to avoid that at all costs. But y'all are going to see me also add some water in there to also help the steaming process, because that's really, honestly, that's really all I wanted it to do, was to steam. And Oh yeah, I added my Worcestershire sauce in there, or however it's pronounced, W sauce, whatever. But I'm seasoning my meat. Excuse me. And there's the water. I like to add a little at a time because I didn't want it to be soupy, but I didn't want to add too little and then it'd be dry. Had a blooper right there. Top dropped in the meat. Stuff happens. So here I am flipping it now. It had been sitting for about 5 minutes right before I started flipping it. So don't let the camera fool y'all. And y'all are gonna see also later on what I did with the croissants. I want to say I regret not frying them on the not toasting them on the stove top, but I didn't want to do too much of anything because even if I did, the cheese was going to also go on there and it was going to sog it up a little. So I just said skip it. I sliced my croissant in half, threw the cheese on there, and then threw it in the broiler on low for about a minute and a half. Again, stuff comes out of the oven and there still is residual heat. And then the heat from the meat itself is going to also melt the cheese. There's my fries. There's my croissant and my cheese like I was just telling y'all about in the oven. I had added some pickles and some extra barbecue sauce, fries on the side. I say this was average, but I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Talk to y'all later.